Tonight when you finally fall asleep, you're going to be visited by a storyteller. And this storyteller, it uses a language that's way older than words. It's a language of pure image and emotion. Carl Jung, the legendary Swiss psychiatrist, he believed this storyteller wasn't just random. No, he believed it was the voice of your deepest, most ancient self. So, let's dive into this hidden world, shall we?
I mean, we've all been there, right? You're jolted awake by a dream that was so vivid, so bizarre, it just leaves you grasping for some kind of meaning in the morning light. Was it just your brain clearing out the junk from the day? Or was it something more? Jung saw dreams not as just random mental noise, but as signals. He had this fascinating idea that we don't invent the symbols in our dreams. They're psychic events that actually happen to us. They just bubble up unconsciously and spontaneously, and they offer this direct line to the parts of our mind that we can't normally reach. Now, to understand these messages, we first have to learn the grammar of the unconscious. And the very first rule is this: this language is not literal. Not at all. It is symbolic. It's a language of pictures that speaks directly to our feelings and our emotions. Think about it for a second. You can't decide what to dream about tonight. It's a totally natural process, kind of like a plant producing its flower. Jung believed the psyche creates symbols in the very same way, trying to communicate something that our rational, everyday mind has completely overlooked or maybe even forgotten. Okay, so how do we even begin to decode this language? Well, the absolutely crucial first step, the key that really unlocks everything else, is getting the profound difference between a simple sign and a true symbol. Trust me, they are not the same thing.
The real difference here is all about scope. A sign, like the letters UN or NATO, it's just an abbreviation for something we already know. It's basically shorthand. But a symbol is expansive. It points toward a mystery, a meaning so vast you can't just pin it down with a simple definition. The cross isn't just two lines crossing. It hints at something totally transcendent. And Jung just captured this perfectly. A symbol has this huge, unconscious aspect to it. When we really start to explore it, our mind is led towards ideas where, as he puts it, our reason must capitulate. It becomes a gateway to what lies just beyond our everyday understanding.
All right, so if a dream is a collection of all these potent symbols, how in the world do you interpret it? Well, Jung developed a really unique method, one that was a dramatic break from his contemporary and, for a time, his mentor, Sigmund Freud. See, Freud's method, free association, it lets the mind just wander away from the dream image, following this chain of thoughts until, bam, it hits one of your known personal issues. But Jung argued this totally misses the point. His method, which he called circumambulation, is the exact opposite. It's like walking around a sculpture. You stay with the image. You examine it from every possible angle to understand its specific, unique message. Jung had this real light bulb moment with this. A colleague of his started free associating from some random Cyrillic letters he saw on a train, and he still ended up at his usual personal complexes. And this proved to Jung that free association could lead to the same old place from any starting point. So the real question became, why did the dream choose this specific image? A burning house, not a flood. A flight of stairs, not a ladder. The meaning is right there in that very specific choice. And this was Jung's constant refrain. He would just relentlessly pull his patients back from their wandering thoughts, right back to the dream itself. The dream, in its specific, peculiar form, was the primary piece of evidence. The message was right there, if we would only just look at it closely enough. But this raises a really fascinating question. If these symbols aren't just personal, right? If they contain more than our own individual experiences, then where do they come from? And this is where Jung's theory goes even deeper into the structure of the mind. I mean, think about ancient myths and fairy tales. Why do we see such similar motifs? The hero's journey, the great flood, the world tree, in cultures that had absolutely no contact with one another. Jung believed the answer lay in a shared, inherited structure of the human mind itself. He called these universal patterns archetypes, and this is critical. An archetype isn't an inherited idea or some specific image. It's an inherited tendency to form certain types of images. Think of it like a psychic blueprint, a pre-existing pattern in the mind that gets filled in by our personal lives and our culture. Get this. Here's a fascinating real-world example from Jung's work.
A 10-year-old girl with no special education in mythology reported having dreams like these. A horned, snake-like monster eats all living things, only to have them reborn by four gods from the four corners of the world. She dreamed of pagan dances in heaven and angels doing good deeds in hell. I mean, where could these incredibly powerful themes of cosmic destruction, rebirth, the union of opposites, where could they possibly come from? Jung's answer was that she didn't invent them. They just emerged spontaneously from the collective, archetypal layer of her psyche.
This is such a brilliant analogy from Jung. Our bodies literally contain our evolutionary history, right? We have traces of gills, a tailbone. He argued the psyche is exactly the same. It is not a blank slate at birth. It carries the entire psychic history of humanity within it, all the ancient patterns and instincts that have shaped us for millennia.
So, okay, we have this ancient, symbolic language that's bubbling up from the archetypal depths of our minds every single night. What's its purpose? For Jung, it wasn't just interesting, it was absolutely essential, especially for healing the sickness of the modern world.
The main job of dreams, according to Jung, is compensation. They're a natural self-regulating system. If our conscious life becomes too one-sided, maybe too rational or too arrogant, the dream produces images to restore our psychological balance. For instance, a man with a really inflated ego might dream he's a drunken tramp. The dream isn't trying to insult him. It's an attempt to show him a neglected part of himself, to make him whole.
And this right here highlights the central problem Jung saw in modern life, a profound and dangerous imbalance. We've gained incredible control through science and reason, but we've definitely paid a price. By demystifying the world, we've lost our deep emotional connection to it. Thunder is no longer the voice of a god, it's just an electrical discharge. And this creates a huge split between our conscious mind and our ancient instinctual roots.
And this really is the ultimate function of our dreams. They are the bridge across that split. They speak the primordial language that we've forgotten, reconnecting our rational, modern brain with the deep, instinctual wisdom of our original nature. They're literally trying to make us whole again. So the next time you wake up from a strange, vivid dream, don't just dismiss it as random noise. Try to see it as a letter from the oldest part of yourself, written in a language of symbols, carrying a message that's meant just for you. A message intended to bring balance and to heal. The only question left is, will you take the time to read it?